that wire running into like a PA radio in that house over there.
So what's going on?
Oh, wait. She doesn't know any?
No, I've not told her anything. No, we
Oh,
have
boy.
electronic devices on us. She knows it's Archivist related.
Let me call Riker as well. So, fuck. We're back.
What kind of shit you into, Blend?
BCSO thing.
Okay.
It's not available. Fuck. Okay.
Crap. You want me to give her a rundown there, Brian, or kind of how do you want to tackle this?
Oops. You go ahead.
Okay. I guess I'll start with a question. How familiar are you with the Archivist stuff?
I mean, I was there as the undersheriff for the pretty much the inception, the start of it, when he started messing with Junior. And Ryan was the director at the time, I'm pretty sure. And I remember we were like running around in like tunnels and trying to like shift pictures and get clues. You remember that, Brian?
Mm-hmm. I was captain
I'm the one
of
who
BCSO.
I'm the one who found Lucian and found out it was an anagram. I forgot about that.
Yep. In the evidence room, I believe.
Yeah, I was in the evidence room, and then we found his name. And yeah. So I'm somewhat familiar with him. I don't know much about things going on now because I've been disconnected from law enforcement for the last month, and he was pretty tempered. He's pretty cold for the last half of my tenure.
I'll provide some context and then I'll pass the baton over there.
Yeah.
Blunt.
Sounds good.
So the Archivist investigation kind of became a bit, let's just say, disarrayed. I think multiple different factors. There was a transition period to me joining SASM. A lot of the evidence surrounding the Archivist was very, let's just say it wasn't very uniform, right? So little bits and pieces being in the hands of multiple individuals, all of which was very difficult to coalesce. Eventually, we were able to coalesce it. But just as we began to get traction, and when I say we, I mean the collective of whomever was working the Archivist at the time, we were told in a rather cryptic fashion that we needed to obtain a series of keys, and Riker can speak more to the specifics of it as he was the day-to-day lead, let's say, of the investigation. Was that the series of keys was intended to effectively shut them down. But even when I say that, the Archivist never said so directly. He only inferred as much. And oftentimes I found when you get such a cryptic responses or, statements is like they're saying one thing, but they will plan to mean another at a later stage. 2 of those keys were obtained, but the third one was never found. This is a consequence of the faceless kicking off, among a whole bunch of other things. And that's when the archivists effectively disappeared. They resurfaced about a month ago. And their introduction was through multiple twats, power outages going out, ultimately leading in us spreading around the city looking for any evidence of what his plans were, if he had caused any further disruptions beyond the power plant initially flickering. And we came across some things, but the most prominent thing was when Blunt here landed his helicopter on top of the observatory and was met with a 50 caliber bullet and nearly took his life. At that same location, in the same place we found a clue previously for this third key 2 months ago, was a note. Not a note, but rather the third key, and a note alongside it claiming we had missed it all along. Now, mind you, as I mentioned, a lot of things were getting very intertwined. What was faceless? What was archivist? What was someone just playing games and tricks, right? Then came the phone call, one of which the archivist provided access to his old terminal, where there was a 10-page lore documentation describing that the archivist was a group of like D&D players whom lost a friend to a felony arrest, and they were unable to exonerate him due to missing information that they could not get to, leading them to start this hacker organization. We then came to learn that Lucian was neither a person or a singular individual, but rather a moniker. They used the phrase, "We are Lucian," towards the end. They also noted that the way that they operated in the city previously, which was to provide individuals with information, for example, hacking into people's phones and getting their text messages, altering the Constitution, those services they felt like the archivists were being used for selfish desires, where they were giving so much but not getting anything in return. And they didn't want to be a tool. And that things had changed, which is why Blunt here was sniped. The indicator that they are now willing to go the full 9 yards and begin to use violence, unlike what they did previously. To then fast forward to about a week and a half ago, we spotted Mr. Blue, one of whom we believe to be the operational asset for the Faceless in San Andreas, 2 miles off the coast of Polito. We believed at the time they were meeting Mr. Blue, alongside a bunch of Faceless assets, were meeting someone. I got confirmation on a phone call late at night, directly from the archivist, while being watched by Charlie, that while the archivists do not share the same mission as the Faceless, they do share one thing in common, something that they were not willing to disclose. Once again, very cryptic. However, that singular mission, that singular thing that they agree on, requires the archivist to, quote unquote, complete his work. This is the suspicion that they intend to drain the state accounts, though we think whether it occurs or not is just one of many steps for what they ultimately wish to do. To which the following took place last night. Go ahead, Blunt.
So the archivist indicated to Sparks that she was being given an opportunity at a conversation with them to gather more information. She asked if she had to work alone. They told her that she could assemble a team. They later followed that up with, there is only one rule. You must include Brittany Angel.
What?
We didn't know to what extent. Later on, yesterday evening, we were presented with a puzzle that was labeled the opportunity. Seemingly, the puzzle was able to be solved without.
For just blunt, there's the location we don't need to get into, but the rest, you know.
I'm still kind of hung up on the include Brittany Angel thing. Why do I have to be included in whatever it is, this operation or opportunity or whatever it is that you're doing?
We'll get there, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
The where kind of really is the big part of that, Brian. I don't know how to answer that while not talking
I can
about
explain
the where.
it. I can explain it. And I think we should give a little bit more background too. I think this will help explain as well. Over the past week and a half, there's been a series of disruptions. Power plant going out. Inferences that individuals, specifically the archivists, have been cracking into government systems. Now, historically, when the archivists first started to play around with the MDT, extract files, alter the Constitution, we were told that the federal database will not be disclosed to anyone. It is in a rather secure location to, protect against threats. And so this kind of prevented our ability to see if there was any physical devices that they might be utilizing, like a USB stick in a mainframe or an extra Ethernet cord plugged into, some kind of server jack. Fast forward back to the present, these power outages are believed to provide a very small window by which they're able to tap into some active lines. What I mean by active lines are when you think about our MDTs or the computer systems in the courthouse, right? They connect somewhere, right? We believe that those firewalls, those security measures that are in place, upon the power going out, there's a small window in time where they can tap in. We've brought in an IT specialist to try to make sense of this. He's yet to begin work. But yesterday evening, or what was it, 2 days ago, they managed to gain access to our recruitment records. Every name, every phone number, every state ID. In this mountain of information that we've been trying to decipher, the inference was made, not even the inference, the demand was made by the archivist of Skylar to bring you in on this situation, but more specifically to instruct you to go somewhere, perhaps to a computer system, perhaps to, we don't know what the reason is, but pretty much she was told that you need to get Brittany Angel and you need to bring her to this place. Is that accurate, Blunt?
To a certain, they said you have to bring Brittany Angel, and they delivered us a puzzle which we had to solve to discover the location. So the location was not clearly stated, so as to obfuscate their true intent. I know that sounds vague, but I'm intentionally being vague, I guess.
To answer your question, we do not know why. But given the fact that you are the Chief Justice, the Occam's razor would point at, they want you. I think they're trying to get us to get you to do something you're not going to want to do.
To put me in an impossible situation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't really know what the right course of action is here, to be honest with you, Brian.
I will tell you that, and this is the same reason I'm telling Blunt that that location will not be given, because I don't want to put you in a position where you're forced. If you don't know, you cannot be forced, right?
Can I give a point to that? If she doesn't know, then she might not even have to be forced.
That's also true. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Someone that's on the outside looking in from what you've described to me, if the archivist or whoever it is that's working for him or them really wants me in a specific location, asking you guys to bring me there is probably just one of many ways they could make that happen.
Mm.
Even if I don't want to go, it's very clear that these people are capable of a lot. I mean, I even told you, Brian, that Lucian or someone that looks similar to the guy that we've known as Lucian or the archivist, or whatever, he's been following me. I even sent you that picture.
Mm.
So it's clear they're keeping tabs on me. It's clear they have access to me. I mean, really, if they wanted to make a move on me or do something, they could have done it right then and there. I mean, I was all alone at the top of the Pixel Casino, the Crystal Casino, just doing paperwork. They were watching me the whole time. You probably guys wouldn't even notice my disappearance for days.
I mean, look at McNulty.
What happened to McNulty?
I don't think she knows about that.
Yesterday evening, he was kidnapped by the Faceless. GPS tracker or disabler placed on him, and we have no idea where he is. No, not until we hear back,
Okay.
chat.
I've got even less protections than you guys do, so
I think it's important. You're not wrong. Now, to be clear here, while we can't know for certain what their intentions are, we want to side on caution, right?
Right.
And what is the safest route to take? The problem with the problem with the decision making with this is we don't know anything. It's an enigma. The archivist is, I'll put it this way. I'm sure you're aware of some of the tensions that occurred initially with the archivist among investigators.
We called Junior stupid. Oh, with the tensions.
He
with,
stirred
Lucas.
the shit out of Junior Huntley. He stirred the shit out of Miller. He got in their head.
They were stirring more today.
They were. Yep. And
Saw that firsthand, actually.
we sort of witnessed that yesterday evening, where even Sparks began to, let's just say, spiral. And she was concerned that there was some kind of dream that you had very similar to Denzel, right? Something we are led to believe to be some like VR like induced like phenomena. I don't even know what to how to explain it myself, given you know, we only know from the outside, and that you may be put in a position where you need to hurt someone. And I'm going to be honest with you, I personally don't know where that comes from. However, it's rather clear that that is 80% of the power that he's bestowing. Is having people believe that there is a bigger ghost than there truly is, so that they lose focus on what is in front of them.
Right. Well, as far as the dream goes, I mean, a dream is just a dream, right? I mean, I don't really know if there's any larger connection there or any outside influence. As far as I understand, I mean,
Could you explain the dream one more time?
yeah, I mean, the dream was really simple. I basically was just asleep at the judicial palace, and I heard a knock on the door. Well, that's actually the second part of the dream. It started off, I was just walking back to the palace to go to sleep, and I was being followed. But I couldn't actually see who was following me. Whenever I looked around, I felt like this deep, unnerving sense of being watched. You know, I'm sure you know the feeling I'm describing.
Hmm.
This unease, you know, felt sinister. It felt dark. You know, when you ever have a dream, there's like a vibe to it you just can't put into words. It's ethereal, but it's so real at the same time. I felt fear. I felt vulnerable, and I was just walking. And as I was about to get into the house, I turned around, and I finally saw who I thought to be the archivist. You know, with his black and white mask and his top hat, looking at me from the balcony of one of the Banner Hotel, which is just to the north. Not the Banner Hotel, but the you know, the little white. I think it's called the Castle, just to the north of the Judicial Palace. He was sitting on one of the balconies, and it really freaks me out. So I ran inside, and I went to go take a nap. And after I fell asleep, I felt like a banging at the door, and I got up to my to see who was there, and it was the archivist forcing his way in, and he had a gun, and I got into a fight with him, and he shot me. Then I woke up in a cold sweat. In my dream, I woke up.
Oh my!
I'm still. It's not over yet.
My
So in
lord!
so
So
in
you
my
didn't
dream,
actually do anything. That
No.
material. Oh my
No,
lord!
then I woke up from my dream and I answered the door.
We
and
need
the
to get
archivist
you
forced
and
his way in
Sparks
again, and he
to
shot me.
chat with each other. And this is so he's communicating with you. He's communicating with her. But y'all don't cross paths. This is very similar to Junior and his situation, Miller, and where I'm going with this is
Yeah.
he's taking, I think, some of what he sees with you and putting it. I think he's trying to cause distrust between you and Sparks, and we caught this yesterday evening.
Really?
Yeah,
Why would he want to do that?
it's what he does.
My personal opinion is so that Sparks would let her guard down in terms of looking at you as somebody that needs to be protected and trying to form you as potentially an enemy, to get her off her ball of not thinking about whether or not you would be safe if she brought you to this meeting.
Well,
Or this
or
location,
the
rather.
opposite too is that if you are, it could be either. Yeah, I actually agree with you, Blunt, now that I think of it.
I see. To reframe the narrative. It paints me in a specific light.
So that the lead investigator starts to have distrust.
I see. That's very devious.
And that's just her side of it. So I think part of why we wanted to bring it up with you is he may attempt to do the same with you. Draw narratives about Sparks and draw distrust there. Because ultimately we don't know how to stop it. It being the archivists. But I think
how are you supposed to stop a group of anonymous hackers?
By shooting them in the fucking head.
Okay. Okay. Well,
the issue with that is that we are pretty certain that the Lucian of today is not the Lucian of the yesterday. So the one from 2 months ago is not the one that currently uses the moniker. And there's at least one
a lot more like it was a lot less polite, I would say.
Oh, this one's way worse. Yeah.
Is he really?
Oh yeah, he shot blunt. Yeah. They're using weapons now. They're leaning on the faceless.
You know, I told you about the text that he's been sending me, right? He's very positive and professional in them.
But maybe that's the intention, right? Make him seem like the good guy and Sparks as whatever he spins her to be. I'll give you a bit more background on like Miller and Brandy. At one stage, he had caused Miller to spiral so much. Miller believed for weeks that myself and the marshals were keeping information from him. This is despite multi-hour-long info dumps.
I think they still believe that.
I'm sure they do. But ultimately, Brandy was spun so much by just him. Like, we had washed our hands, to be honest. At a certain stage, it was Riker leading up the majority of the... But let me give you an example, right? Like, even those twats, Riker is the one that solved the puzzles. Archivist doesn't know this. But he spun their minds so much that Brandy contacted Ruby York and told her that she was getting anxiety just from dealing with the Archivist case. To which we, had to speak with her and let her know, like, hey, it's not gonna be anything against you, if you don't want any more involvement. So and then you got Junior Huntley, who fucking completely went off the damn reservation. So,
yeah, that guy went off his rocker.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm actually curious, how much of what I've told you, like, do you guys like have on documentation?
Probably not as much as we need.
Because I feel like there's a lot of things that he's communicated to me that might color in your perception of how I've been interacted with and what's been said to me.
Yeah. We had this same thought yesterday evening. We've asked Sparks to set up a meeting with you, so we're not doing telephone. Obviously, we can relay her information, but how she's probably going to have significantly more follow-up questions than we would have, myself and Blunt.
Got it.
I do think we could
sense.
use your text messages, though, specifically the ones with him.
Yeah, absolutely. I can get those for you.
Do we have to file a subpoena, or like just gonna hook us up?
I can just provide them.
Okay.
What I can do is I'll get the subpoena on my own phone, and then I'll just filter out his decks, and I'll just send them to you in a CSV
right.
if that works for you.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I say that just jokingly because these have been my interactions with other members of government.
Oh, well, I wouldn't really care if you subpoenaed my phone, but I don't think it's
Hey,
necessary.
we're gonna die. We need to know your information on your text. Subpoena me.
Well,
But we're gonna
that-
die.
well, I think,
Please.
Brian, I think it's because most government employees are just criminals with a badge, and that's why they feel like that.
That's why I'm gonna die soon, I think.
Probably, it's possible.
I think
I
we
will
all
be
are.
honest, though. If you subpoenaed my text messages, you would very much die.
I
from
don't
cringe,
know.
So it would be very bad.
No,
we'll-
no. I don't. You know. Okay, we'll get into the other stuff afterwards.
Okay.
Because it's going to be a change of mood. My son thought I asked him to have sex with his potential future mom in prison.
What?
Yeah, it's. I don't know what I got myself into.
It sounds like you got yourself into something crazy, Brian.
Look, I said something to the effect of, man, we could make a sweet power couple to Carmela the day before the election.
Yeah.
And I regret that because I thought it was funny at the time, but she thinks it's real.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
And now
that's a
she
bad
wants me to
thing
get
say to
a
her.
fucking like mechanical penis transplant so I can white pee and impregnate her.
Yeah, she's a stage,
Where the fuck did this conversation
stage
go in
10
the 2
clearer,
seconds I walked
so-
away?
Well,
Oh,
you
sorry,
were taking
sorry,
your
Bud,
time.
sorry.
You know.
You guys are not aware of any local military agents that work at Zancudo, are you?
Not to my immediate knowledge,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
there
they're-
are 3 Zancudo military base employees allegedly at MRPD saying they made a deal with Kyle to purchase 9,000 rounds of 9mm ammunition, and they're trying to get Opal to give it to them. I said, fuck no.
Oh, okay. So okay, obviously that is not real.
Right.
There is we have connections at Zancudo for in worst case scenarios. And they've assisted us in. Wait, you know this? That's how we got the faceless plane.
Yeah. I just like the idea that these are folks that would go to try to.
No.
get
That would not be the
round-
case.
Yeah, they're just imposters. I'm pretty sure. It's just what I told them.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, she SOS'd, so.
We're gonna have a better idea of what the next steps are here, Angel. Probably in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
A lot of this transpired late last night. Like from this, look at the reports till
Mid shift 3.
yeah,
Like in the
So-
dead middle of shift 3.
4 or 5 hours into the last storm. So I think that's one of the challenges, rather truthfully, because luckily Blunt here doesn't sleep anymore, which I'm like, you good, bro?
I don't know.
Um,
I don't know anymore.
It's so luckily he was able to relay what happened last night to me. But sometimes these things move so quick, like we may not hear anything for days, as we haven't, and then all of a sudden we've got, you know, a dozen plus hours of things to sift through. And unfortunately, most of what we have right now is pure speculation. Do we believe that they're going to be attempting to drain the accounts? I'd say 60% certainty. Do we believe that this is their main intention? No. We think that this is the obvious thing. We think it's obvious enough that it's got the city already kind of freaking out. We think it's obvious enough that people are now hoarding gold and silver. But their true intention is likely deeper than that and could be as bad as gaining access to old nuclear silos. And just for reference, the chance of that is probably 5% probability, but it is there. And unfortunately, this is typically what we deal with. There is what is obvious and in front of us, then there is the thing that we might find out only if we, you know, push real hard and get lucky, and then there's what actually happens. If that makes sense. So you might be in danger, but you may not be. But if you see the Archivist, I would run.
Got it.
Do not meet with them alone and try to avoid being in positions where you can get taken. I know that's a hard ask, but
Guys, I work at City Hall, which is an abandoned wasteland where no one is around, and I guarantee you, I would disappear. I could disappear tonight, and you guys probably won't even notice for a few days.
Well, what we could do in the interim is maybe a check-in process.
yeah, dead man switch type deal.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't even remember to do that, so that's not going to work. Unless you're good at doing
probably.
that.
There's no way I'm going to be able to remember
Yeah.
to keep up with that.
Yeah, we're going to plan it, yes, and then like tomorrow, none of us are going to remember this.
Exactly. I mean, he showed up at City Hall with an autonomous drone yesterday. And I don't mean like a little tiny little guy, the Archivist.
The remote control Havoc.
Right, the remote control Havoc. I told you about it,
Oh,
remember?
yes. There's yes. Oh, my God. It's like, okay, was that Faceless? Was it fucking Octagon or whatever the fucking Spooderman? Was it fucking Archivist? Was it a fucking... Oh, yeah, we got distracted, too, because we're like, oh, that might be used to... We fucking got distracted with these fucking dumb fucks breaking into a fucking ship. That's how we lost McNulty. But then again, they could have been robbing the ship, but then the fucking Faceless used... Oh, my God. Yeah, these fucking superheroes got to chill just for, like, slow it down, bro.
Yeah, I got you.
I think, you know what? I think they do. I think they get around a fucking table and they're like, hey, there's a bunch of marshals around. Let's fuck them all up. And they all just do everything at the same time.
Well, you think the Archivist, the Faceless, and Spooderman are working together to fuck with you guys?
Yeah, I think they got an evil lair somewhere where they scheme. They're like, all right, Face is like, you know,
I'm gonna get Charlie, and we're gonna have one bomb over here, and then we're gonna kidnap McNulty, and then we're also gonna do all these other things.
and then the Archivist, you know, in his voice is like, all right, great. I'm going to take out the power plant, and I'm going to make all these puzzles, and I'm going to send those out. And then the Green Gobbler is just like, I don't know what we're going to do yet, but Carmela's coming out of...
Charles out of prison.
We're gonna break Bobby. Oh, yeah, that happened, too. And there was a bomb in prison yesterday. Jesus, fuck. Oh, my God. And oh, my God.
Well, thank goodness that's the only thing you have to worry about.
No, it's not.
If you
No,
threw
then
another
we also got like
faceless
the
organization into the fray.
no, there's this whole like Zenith is like reemerged as well.
Who?
Zenith?
I've never heard of that.
Actually, I feel like you'd be really interested in that. I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
Yeah, it's like cybernetic, like AI stuff as well, which also actually makes it even more confusing because it's.
I doubt she'd be that interested. It's some cringe street racer shit or something. I don't know.
Tree racing stuff. Hmm? Been a long time since I've done that kind of stuff.
This is all by design.
What's Brian on about now? You okay, Brian? What do you mean it's all by design?
As corruption increases, as the foothold of the Faceless continues to expand in San Andreas, wormholes have been opened. Ports in our computer systems have been. The physical ports down at the docks for Lagara. What if the investors... What if the investors are stress testing us?
Who the hell are the investors?
Wait, you don't know about the investors?
Oh, what the hell's an investor? We're talking like S&P 500?
Wait, Angel, you don't know what the investors are?
No, what are the investors? Right,
Oh,
I
boy.
want to make something very clear. I don't know really anything about the faceless or these other investigations that you've been talking about outside of my direct involvement in them. So
We do have a 10-page dossier that we're almost done with. I have to review it because it has some inaccuracies, which we are going to be providing to heads of every department and entity. So like the mayors, yourself, the justices, the chief and the sheriff, that summarize in a very easy to read, a lot of pictures. You know, it's actually really fucking cool. It's been developed over the last 2 weeks. But to give you a droplet, about 3 years ago, before, you know, San Andreas went to shit. Borders were closed up. Everyone got the fuck out, right? Well, during that time, there was a bunch of development taking place. Investors came hold, and that's where we got Wolf International and Nest. All these corporate entities that started to build up San Andreas so that to open the gates again.
so they're the ones that have put up all those stupid signs all over City Hall.
Well, Nest is one of them. I think of them as independent corporations that may be tied to one or more investors, the collective of investors that may have different interests, right?
When I was under sheriff, didn't you show me like a book or something that had like the Nest logo next to the faceless or something?
Yes. Oh yeah, they're the faceless are on the same. The faces are and Nest are very super tied together. But the investors whom control them are a subset of the total set of investors that have invested into San Andreas. Does that kind of make sense? Like, think
yeah,
of
that
it,
makes sense to me.
as for Wolf's International, that is believed to be a different set. But there's others as well. Darkstone, for example, they themselves have investors. Now, the reason why all of this is like cumulatively important is because San Andreas is owed a debt to these investors for a very long time. Now, how they garner, you know, let's say they put in $10 billion. They're expecting 20 billion back. What those numbers look like, we don't know. Right? In fact, that's one of the reasons we suspect this transfer of wealth that may be taking place, because they may want to usurp all those funds out for their own will. Now that might beg the question, well, why would you, as the investors, want an entity like the Faceless to cause destabilization? Well, while they may, it's no different than, you know, countries going into, you know, slicing up a third world country, right? Selling guns, making money from it. Even the Faceless's attempts to, you know, infiltrate the government, or Darkstone utilizing us, it helps them too. They sell us fucking weapons while simultaneously slurping up all our taxes. Now, these are, as much as I would love to say that these are just, you know, the theories of a, you know, Brian Knight, unfortunately, all the facts and evidence point at this, all of this being true. We've, in fact, about 2 weeks ago, we managed to catch one of the investors having a meeting down at Legion Square.
Just me in the open like that?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess they're not doing anything illegal.
Well, that's where the shroud of mystery is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they even San Andreas citizens? And what does that mean? I mean, I'll draw you like even the most insane theory is
Mm-hmm.
if Darkstone is documented to have a series of investors, and are making their way to San Andreas with their equipment. If Nest has given up properties to assets like the Liquid Library and the Kiflon building, have somehow coerced the government to allow the reconstruction of the courthouse, Davis Marshal's office many months ago, yet they are documented to be tied with the Faceless. How much of this is one big scheme? I mean, we don't know the real answer. It unfortunately comes down to having to rely on theories based on the very little evidence that we have. That's why we removed the Nest logo over at Davis. Tried to do it on some of the other spots.
Yeah, I'd like that off City Hall.
Yeah.
So you get those damn Swedish flags off of Carcer.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's that too. That's why I mentioned, for all we know, the investors are simply accelerating something that they've already planned because this may be a failed investment. Right?
I mean, they probably wouldn't be wrong on that.
Yeah. So
Now, me personally, though, I'd like to avoid getting into a world of corpo feudalism. Like something I'd like to avoid.
that's the impasse we are now starting to hit, where what do we do with Darkstone if we need Darkstone against one entity, but they are now solely becoming maybe not as bad, but degrees of what the Faceless are, and without any alternative options, it kind of leaves us with very few choices. So I don't know. It's anyways, I know we've been here for a while, but are there any questions you may have for us? Whatever it might be.
I mean, I do just kind of wonder, like, what's the plan? Like, how... The reality is the information you're feeding me sounds all highly concerning, but I've not really heard much out of your mouth about how we're going to be able to do anything to stop it. We as a collective, not just you.
I strongly believe that this kind of goes back to the piece of legislation we put forward. The one to release Marshall documents. The more and this kind of stems back all the way back to Charles Danger. I came to the realization that the only way to fight the Faceless, to fight the Archivist, is for people to know the truth. Very much like Sanguine back in the day, and why so many, even to this day, look at Sanguine and say, oh man, that was an illegal war. How could they do so? The only reason that they think that today is because they never knew what was happening. And I think very similarly, I don't think people know what the Faceless have done and what they can do, what the Archivist has done and what he could do. If they don't understand or see the evidence and the proof of these, you know, devilish actions, they're going to choose their side. They're going to look at them as the potential victims. And if push comes to shove and tomorrow we are dealing with like a, you know, like a, I don't know, like in a worst case scenario, a domestic Sanguine, it's going to be those that are in the know and those that have been left in the dark. If tomorrow Darkstone and the Faceless are rolling tanks through the city and they say, fuck the government, We're here to save you. What do we say?
Well,
There might be a lot of people that pick up their banner.
that's true. That's probably true. I mean, think about your charter. You as the state marshals were designed to protect the state from outside threats, and you were designed to prevent from uprisings. But the reality is, it takes more than just guns and force to win a war, right?
Mm.
And I think you're very well aware of that. And this the information war is something that you need to be focusing on a lot. I'll do what I can to help with getting this that amendment pushed through and allowing it to happen. But I think the marshals, I think you guys are fighting an uphill battle. You know, the city is full of people that honestly love chaos, and they love things to be horrible, and they love things to be miserable. It's what they thrive in.
Given that the operation has ended, I can let you in on this. About 4 weeks ago, we conducted Operation Shitstir.
Okay.
Every asset was told that the other was working against them. Through various lies and deceit, half the faceless assets are now against the faceless.
That was you guys that did that?
We definitely played a very major role.
That's impressive. That's a lot of confusion and chaos to sow. I like that.
It was simpler than it may. It was remarkably simple. I mean, it took a lot of persistence, but if a bunch of gang leaders are sitting at a table to fight the government, you just attack their egos. And you start to question why they work for Brandon Valentino and why he's their daddy.
But the assets work for Brandon Valentino?
The implication to piss off their egos.
Oh, I see.
And then we just point at the docket and the facts and the charges pressed against him. Why did Brandon have you guys potentially lose your lives and everything just to stab the director? And then they're handed one of these.
What are you about to give me?
If you don't mind giving this back right afterwards, you're not
Sure.
going to want that.
What is this? It's a popsicle.
It's a metaphorical penis of the blue man
Oh, he gave you
that
his
they
penis?
suck on. No, I give it to them and I say, here, since you're so used to slobbering all over it.
You're gonna give it to them so they can be like, hey, suck on these, suck on Mr. Blue's wang. I got it. I understand. It's good. I mean, that definitely will probably cause some consternation with them. I'll be honest though, I don't know how effective it will be. I don't know these marks very well, so.
Well, now the side effect is it's starting to look like Darkstone is some of that weakness has kind of caused Darkstone to start to spread their wings, and we're now a bit concerned that they themselves may be providing support for the defectors.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, didn't we talk about this before? And I think we were coming to the conclusion of how the hell, like, what other choice do you have than to work with them? Right.
I'm hoping another option opens up soon. But I think ultimately, if we do not find a solution in the next week or so, we're going to have to make some tough choices and deal with the consequences afterwards.
I have a question, Brian. Are you being constrained by, like, not having enough material resources from the state? Like, what is
Yes.
the big the issues you're having in dealing with these threats?
Knowing that Darkstone controls our access to aviation and for like resources, because effectively when Darkstone came in, they became the primary source for weapons for the police department, the primary source for helicopters, fighter jets, all the things that we don't need today, but we may theoretically need tomorrow. Without knowledge of there being an alternative, they become the only source. So
Right.
we become very similar to, I like to use the third world country example, third world country being San Andreas, effectively contractually bound, not because we want to, but because there is no other choice. So knowing full well that if we arrest Delta One tomorrow, we're fucked. So,
Well, I mean, I do agree that while San Andreas could be considered a third world country, I don't think it's impossible for us to get more militarized equipment.
oh,
I was able to get those APCs actually from one of the abandoned warehouses down in Cyprus. They'd actually stored away a lot of the Sanguinian equipment that we seized when we hit the island. Those APCs that you use, I actually helped blow a hole in a couple of them. So what I'm saying is, I'm sure it's not impossible to get more. Right.
I agree with you. And I think that's kind of what we're finding what the approach is. In plain words, from a legislative perspective, that's kind of part of what we wanted to ensure existed. So if tomorrow, there was a need for something, that is something I want to explore. I'll put it that way. Whether it's like, contacts at, Fort Zancudo and whatnot. Best I understand, the leadership at Zancudo is figuring it out.
Got it. Very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, a little bit off topic, Brian, but you know how like when the president of the United States of America gets elected, they get given like a book of secrets.
Mm-hmm.
They get given like access to I forget what it's called, the Library of Congress or whatever, and there's like things that are redacted and hidden away. I'm willing to bet some of the things that I know that there might be our very own version of that.
Really?
Our very own state secrets hidden away. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. I fired off there's a particular topic I want to discuss, but given the means by which it was delivered to me, I am asking for clarity on a specific thing so I know how openly to speak on it, and
Sure.
hoping it's not a meme that was... Please continue.
I mean, the main thing that I was getting at was I was given some confidential information when I was named as the Chief Justice, and I'm sure that you've probably been given similar information from similar handlers from the state, right? You don't need to tell me because
Yes and no.
well,
But yeah.
But right. But the main point that I'm getting at here is I think that knowing that there's a lot of things that are not out there, knowing that there are a lot of secrets and information that's contained in safe locations, I think I guess the point that I'm trying to get at here is we should see these things as our own nukes, for example, right?
Mm.
Information nukes, if you will. Keep them in the back pocket. Because I can
I
tell you this right
agree.
now, that not everything is in electronic forms that the archivist would have access to. Not everything is in a place or a location for some of these shadowy organizations to get their greedy little hands on.
Do you believe that exists or that we should be contributing to it? Or maybe both?
I know that it exists. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
What?
I'm fine.
You're fine? Okay. Well, regardless, I do know that such a thing exists, and I would love to get my hands on it. I was thinking about securing a charter to go visit the mainland and see if I could pay visits to a couple of people who might have access to it.
The mainland of,
You know, not San Andreas.
yeah. Are we Puerto Rico? What is the
Yeah,
United
basically.
States relationship to us? Because I feel like the U.S. sold us off to like another country, right?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
Because I know the answer to this. And what I tell you might actually be very concerning to you, and it might actually color your perceptions of a lot of what we're dealing with right now. Ryan, I want you to take a look out there at the coast. Remember how there used to be a yacht just parked over yonder?
Mm-hmm.
You ever wonder why that yacht's not here anymore? Or any of them, for that matter.
Sold off?
Sold off? No, actually, those yachts are owned by private citizens. You know how expensive yachts are to maintain, right? The logistics that go into them, moving them around, registering them, the personnel, the crew, keeping them up to date, manufacturers, all that stuff, right? A lot that goes into that. Now, why would all of the yachts that are flocking around a ostensibly quite beautiful island for private citizens disappear?
We're actually in the Truman Show. We're one big fucking experiment.
That is definitely a possibility, but I don't actually think that. Well, I know it's actually not the case, but it's a good guess. Ryan, I need to tell you the truth. After the collapse, after everything went to shit, after Chang'e overthrew the government and the governor had us come in and rewrite the Constitution, we seceded from the United States of America, and we were placed under an active embargo. No goods in, no goods out. The waters are shut down. You ever wondered why whenever you get on a boat, you try to go out there, eventually it'll be like it almost got poof, like the engines were shot. Because we're being watched. We're being held in place. Ryan, we're at war.
What?
But it's not the traditional kind of war that you might know.
Okay.
Not with guns and planes and tanks and with an active invasion coming our way. No, it's a worse kind of war. We're in an economic war.
The United States.
That's right.
I mean, this kind of goes hand in hand with, you know, the little tidbits we've been finding here and there, right? Going back to even this outside investors. Who are they? Right? Why would they want to drain accounts Are we just a play toy? I mean, I feel like that's reasonable.
Well, I mean, ask yourself this. In any traditional, civilized society with a really functioning governments, do you think organizations like the Faceless and the Archivist and all these other guys would be able to get away with what they do? To some
Oh,
extent, yeah,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
To some extent, right? They would. But there'd be a lot more checks on them. It'd be a lot more difficult for them to do what they do.
Mm.
The reality is, a lot of the things that they might present to you here are almost seemingly overkill. There's really not any way that you guys have, or we as a society have, to fight back against it. And that's because they're used to taking on much more secured, much more armed, much more capable threats, like the United States government. They're used to having a harder target to fight. We're the underdogs.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That doesn't mean it's hopeless. It just means that we need to acknowledge the reality of our situation
Mm.
and what we can do to fight back.
I mean, it kind of explains why the carrier jet isn't around, and why even acquiring equipment, even if we do, tends to be lackluster, right?
Yeah. I mean, the state of San Andreas, to arm its San Andreas state marshals and its protectors of the Constitution, gave you old APCs that have been blown apart in a war years ago. They didn't provide you with top-of-the-line battle tanks, no jets, nothing that could actually stand up and take on a foreign terrorist threat.
It's come to the point where that's what we need.
What if we become Greenland?
That's possible. I'm gonna be honest,
God
Brian.
damn
If some of the things, there's some possibilities that are coming our way, and it's very likely that people like you and I could end up getting publicly executed or worse. So I think it's in our best interest that we take these organizations down before it gets too much.
Wait, but then why is President Davis in Blaine County?
Is he?
Yeah, he's been there for 4 months. Came
I
to
didn't know
visit.
that.
Yeah. Wait,
Well-
what if that?
How do you know that's really him, Brian?
Well, I know it's him. Yeah, no.
How do you know he's still the president? There's a lot of
oh,
questions
that I don't know. Yeah.
I don't even know the answers to these, Brian. I don't even know the answers to these questions.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't been back to the United States since for a minute now.
Me neither.
Okay. We need to. Okay. Maybe. I think he's still around. I think. I mean,
We need to find out.
well, so the last time I saw him, he was gonna get shit faced and wait. Oh yeah, he was gonna come to my wedding. And then he flew in for that. But then I'd tell him, I
Think
wasn't
about it like
actually.
this, Brian.
Yeah.
He's the president of the United States of America, right? Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. He's the president of the United States of America. When you're the president of the United States of America, you can do whatever the hell you want.
I gotta go help with the military shit that's going on down there, but
All right, okay. Good luck.
I entrust
Wait,
you guys
what
to be safe
military
here.
shit?
The military dudes that are impersonating.
We should pause on this.
Sir.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's that deep. They realized that they were imposters, and I think they shot Opal at MRPD. Is what I think happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we could always talk about this later. But
Yeah.
just keep in mind, things are not always what they've been presented to us to be.
Oh my god. Every fucking day!
I'm gonna get access. I'm gonna find out.
Dale, we're on channel 3. You good?
There's so much mystery, which is great. But I feel like, in a way, I'm always